So I finally grabbed that Levo 2 and did my first flower infusion.
Oh.
But I want to talk about that. I actually have a sample here we can indulge in. Sounds like we need a sample of WD-40. Check this out. Okay, this guy's got Bitcoin, right? You know, Bitcoin isn't real, right? Like, it's not.
I don't understand cryptocurrency at all.
It's a bunch of, no one does, but it's a bunch of nonsense. But essentially, if you have Bitcoin, partial Bitcoin, whatever, it's stored on your Bitcoin wallet, which is just a flash drive, an external drive. These are digital files. There's no real currency. These are digital files. Okay, so
anybody can just like take it.
And that's where our story begins. So this man had mined a bunch of Bitcoin. He'd bought a bunch of Bitcoin. Doesn't matter. He had a bunch of Bitcoin. It's worth about 250 million when it went missing, and today it's worth about 350 million. So this guy winded up throwing it out.
So there's like collect interest or something? Or?
No, just the value of Bitcoin is like a stock. So the more people that invest in it, the value of a Bitcoin goes up. So a Bitcoin used to be like $12, and now it's, I don't know, 25,000. He throws out the drive, okay? He's been kicking himself ever since, and he knows where it is. It's in the dump. It's in his local dump, okay? So, like I say, this has been almost a decade, and now the city, they want to get rid of this dump. But they first have to reclaim the land because of EPA laws and all of this. So it's going to cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this guy and his story has made national headlines nationally, right? So he got investors, and they've agreed to invest about, I don't remember if it's 5 million or 8 million into this endeavor to get this drive back. So they've made an offer to the city that if the city will let them buy it on a lease for, I think, 5 years, that when they're done, they'll do the reclaiming on the land. And the guy says it's a 5-year project. He's going to go through with, equipment, backhoes, whatever, every inch of that dump. And he is confident he will find his missing drive. So this guy...
It's going to get destroyed.
Well, it's probably already destroyed. If not, it's wet. It's,
Yeah.
So apparently for the last 5 years, this guy quit his job. And his 9 to 5 is just picking through the dump. He may be secretly a millionaire or something, but the article I read implied that he was just an average Joe. So it's like, how's he fitting his bills while he just, is off
just
digging in the trash?
At the dump.
Like the Trailer Park Boys. He's going to have a bee problem pretty quick. But could you imagine if he is, in fact, an average Joe and you finally get a break, right? You got 250 million on this digital drive. And then before you can cash it out, it's gone. Like, what do you even do? You know what I mean?
All that money.
Like, that's the kind of thing that makes you want to shoot yourself, especially now that he's gotten investors. And let's say it doesn't pan out, what securities has he given these investors? You know what I mean? His child? Like, what do they get? He has nothing if they don't find it. And if they do find it, is the drive too far gone from moisture, humidity, that it won't matter if they do?
Yeah, it sounds like he's just wasting money right now. Just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah, but I can't blame him for that though.
Yeah, 300 million.
Yeah,
I'd probably be out there digging for a bit too.
I've been following this story for years, but yeah, ever since I heard he's going to buy the dump from the city, it's just been weighing on my mind.
And I wonder too if the trash trucks, if each one has a certain spot they dump, and they can find out which truck goes through his block, his area, what spot it dumps in the dump.
That is a good thought, but that just made me think of something else. When it goes in the trash truck, don't they compress it, compact it?
Yep.
But I guess all he has to do is find the board.
Depending on the size of it. I mean, they make it so small.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an external drive or if it's a little flash drive. It could go in there,
be compacted, and not get smashed at all.
Or
it's going to be compacted up in some other shit.
That's a good point, too. Maybe that's why he says it'll take 5 years.
It's in the center of a fucking beer can and foil.
Yeah,
and
it's not
fucking
just
used diaper.
digging through a pile. It's breaking apart.
Yeah.
Like you say, the diapers and the period goop and...
fucking needles.
That'd be worth it if you knew. But that's the thing. You go through all that. You don't know. Whatever. Speaking of weighing heavy on the mind, the first flower infusion did happen. The Levo 2 I bought, okay? So it's an infuser. So what it does is it decarbs the flower and it infuses it. So decarbing can be described, it's baking your herb, okay? You bake your weed like 240 for 30 minutes, and that opens up the pores to where you're not leaving THC behind. It also removes the molecule A, which for some reason you don't want in this process. So it's an all-in-one machine. It looks like a coffee maker. It does the baking, and then you put your medium in that you want to pull that THC out of and put it into. So you could use MCT oil, butter, honey, peanut butter, milk, water, like any base you want, right? What I chose to do was take a half ounce of herb and put it into a cup and a half of coconut oil. Now, I didn't have any experience with coconut oil prior to this. I didn't even really know. I thought it would taste like coconuts. It doesn't. I tasted it beforehand. But what you do is you have this pod, and this pod gets magnetized to the side of this reservoir, okay? And your flower goes in that pod. That pod is stainless steel, but it has little holes in it like a screen to where the medium can get in and out of the pod as they blend, okay? So I did a 5-hour infusion. Baked that son of a gun at like 165 for 5 hours, okay? And what I came up with, and that's what's cool about this, it's not the old days where you're like throwing a QP in a crock pot. For one, you don't have to sift. You're not mixing the two things. Like, you're not pulling pieces of your herb out of it, right? It's completely separate. But you can actually do the math. So I used their formula, and I was running 14 grams, and it was Northern Lights. Well, Northern Lights is actually, I hate to say a low THC because, look at old times, but it has a THC content of roughly 14%. So we can do, that was that real wet stuff I gave you. That was just so sticky a little while back. That was that stuff. I was trying to get rid of it. So I did, I put it into a cup and a half of oil, did the math all the way down. And what I came up with is this jar right here. And this started off white. Okay. So this is coconut oil. So that right there is 1,620.53 milligrams of THC. So that can basically be used for cooking. You can put it in your coffee, which sounds weird to me, or you could just put it on toast, But this coconut oil has fatties in it, so your THC molecules bond with all the fatties, right? So my plan with this is I'm going to take 4 tablespoons, which isn't much. But at this, I can take 4 tablespoons, mix it with the gummy mix that I have on the way, and you have to do the math all the way down to how many milliliters are your silicone trays. Like how much liquid are you putting in each gummy, each bear, each worm, whatever. So mine were 3 milliliters. So essentially 4 tablespoons of this is going to make 64 5.25 milligram gummies. Okay?
That's weak.
It is weak, but that's what I take. I could use this entire thing and make over a year's worth of 5 milligram gummies.
You should make some 20s.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, was like because see, ultimately I want the low gummies because that's what I take to sleep. And then I use these transdermal patches. So these are THC patches. They're 20 milligrams. You're not really going to get high from them, but they actually work. I think they seem to work about half the time, but they're like $10 a pop, right? So if I, instead of using that type of oil, if I were to use like MCT oil, I could just get a straight THC oil, get some of these blank patches, put however many milligrams I want, however many milliliters of the liquid equal X amount of milligrams onto the patch, and then I have my own. My goal is to not go to the dispensary anymore. Or you could simply like I forget what the medium is, but that with the DAP pins, the liquid, the THC carts.
Yeah.
So you can buy blank carts, and essentially, if you're a cart guy, if you're Mario Karting everywhere, you can just refill. Buy the ingredients, buy the empty carts, and then you just fill your own instead of paying fucking $40 a cart or whatever it is at the dispensary.
That's a cheap one too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I saw when I was there the other day, they were trying. See, they don't ever try to push flour on me because I've done told. I only go to one place, and I've done told every person in there, I don't fucking want your flour. You know what I mean? I don't want it. I don't give a shit. And the only reason I'm calling it flour is because I don't want to hit the sensors. But it is so douchey in person. Would you like some flour today? Would you like punched in the fucking face? Sweet.
What, we baking a cake?
Yeah. I digress. So, what do you get from dispensaries besides flour?
That's really about it. I mean, if they had their edibles on sale.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what edible means nothing?
Oh,
what
the
is
gummies.
It?
Like, they're...
Fucking come on here.
10 milligrams a piece.
That's not much more than I'm taking.
No, but
You have to, like,
I
I
ate
was
two
a
of them
puss.
at a time.
Well, then why not buy 20s? Is it cheaper to buy 10s and
I
take
don't
two?
think they have 20.
I have no
I don't
idea.
know, they might. What I see, they usually go from 10 to like 100 or something.
See, I get...
Like I said, I only get them on sale because they're fucking expensive.
I get every month. I get 2 bags of Chiba Chew, Sleepy Time. It's like Tootsie Rolls, basically. And I'm looking to not spend that $40 a month. So I spent a few $100s on the machine, and then I didn't realize how much more you got to spend. Like the molds, even the gummy mix. Like everything adds up a lot more than I thought it would. So like I did the math, for example. If I were to do those 60, whatever I said it was, 64, 5 milligrams, that would cost me about $60, about $1 a piece is what I'm paying at the dispensary. And I think it's going to cost me about $24 to home make them. But that's without the price of the flour, And I thought like butter would be great too, in a real way though, not in just here's some butter, have fun, you don't know what you're getting. Like I can say, I'll get butter molds, okay? So because everything, that's what's cool about it. The machine has a dispenser. You're not pouring stuff. You just stick your container underneath, like it looks like a coffee maker, and you press a button and it's motorized like a soda machine. So you could fill like butter molds, and then let's say it's 1,000 milligrams per block, right? You could just theoretically just get a tape measure, make 10 equal notches. Each of those is 100 milligrams. So you could like start your morning with a little 100 milligrams on a bagel, or you know what I mean? And like the possibilities are endless. The patches, the edibles, the carts. Like I say, I'm trying to find a way.
You're going to go places.
Yeah. I'm thinking peanut butter. Okay? I'm a peanut butter guy. None of that creamy shit. But if I could get some...
So you're worried about the sensors?
If I can get some medicated peanut butter bagels, that's my Jimmy Jam. You know what I mean? Like I will be just in another planet. Plus, like the sodas. Because really, all of this, I thought about it afterwards. All this oils and stuff isn't even really the way to go. The way to go is to get a neutral base that you don't actually cook with, that you can just drop in anything. So it'll just be a liquid that stays a liquid, like the MCT oil, and you do the math, like a milliliter is 20 milligrams, okay? So you have a soda, 20 milligrams. You want to put it in your food, 20 milligrams. Instead of baking it into something, you just drop it into whatever. You're just using a distillate, basically. I think that's where you really need to be, but for now I'm going to play and have fun. I'm going to invest into all the little gadgets and the gummy makers and the tra-la-las. And then, I think it's going to be amazing, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll keep
Me too.
Your 20 milligrams in mind with that. Are you spitting all over this table?
No.
No, maybe I am. Jesus. All right, I think that means it's time to go. See ya.